That was Zinc York. York. I don't know how to pronounce that. Do you know how to pronounce that, man? Tomas?
No.
Zinc
For
York.
Korean, it's a bit difficult for me how to pronounce it.
Yeah,
Like,
me too,
but
man. Like,
good.
I mean, that was pretty cool. I only heard that song today.
No, cool. That's just I have to take note from that. Like, okay, for later. Good then.
It's
Good.
so I was looking finding out what the what like translations and stuff meant, and so what they did was they did a bilingual, right? So they did it in
Mhm.
Korean as well as English lyrics. So they were doing like the chorus, which is non-existent, earthly, brown, dusty world, lost destination. So that's the chorus for them, and so you know, but there's more meaning to what the rest of the lyrics are. So yeah, I think it's really cool because I used to be a DJ, right? Radio DJ. So I used to like do shows like based around international metal music because I love metal, and I've always loved. I mean, since I was like mid-teens, maybe early teens, and so discovering new bands is it's awesome. Like you've got their channel there. It's called Zinc York. Yeah, Zinc York.
Thank you.
So I'm gonna put their link in the chat so you guys can check them out. They're pretty new by the looks of it. I mean, they've only got 2 videos up, only about 650 subscribers. They've got everything that a metal band would need to
Yeah.
to make it, which is originality, just kind of like not putting on a facade, right? I like.
Yeah.
I was watching Venom yesterday, and Venom's, like live, Venom's in English 80s, but still around, right? Metal, dark metal kind of band. But I never got into them because they had this like kind of like, okay, I got this costume thing going on, right? I got spikes
Oh,
and
yeah.
all this. And,
Like
and same thing
almost
happened
like
with me with
keys or
Slayer.
slayers, like that.
Yeah. So same thing happened with Slayer. Like I didn't get into Slayer for like at least 2 decades because of that whole like we're looking tough, but then you listen to him speak, and he's like this nice guy on the stage speaking, and then he's like got this
Like,
costume on because
well, like how far when he's all with the leather and the motorcycle and hello everybody, how are you? Like,
and I love Slayer, right? And I love the whole thing because there is that whole idea, like it's like comic books, right? The costume isn't the person is the person, the costume is what they put on to go and face the world. And
yeah,
so a lot of like bands do that. That's their facade, their costume. Like with metal, especially, you put that on. That's you represent you to that world. But I like Zinc York, where like they're just like this is the reason why it's like Metallica and I mean and Megadeth. Why I love Megadeth because they just put on a T-shirt, Megadeth, whatever
yeah,
on it, jeans. Listen to my music, and that's what those guys sounded like to me. It's like listen to my music. It's like I'm this is us playing. They've got the classic V, like the flying V. Like the whole guitars, dual flying Vs and everything. And
old school metal. Like,
yeah, it's you gotta have the flying V, right, to be
yeah,
metal. But I mean, it also is cool as well. Like I mean, I think it's very like what we're talking about here, guys. This intro into what we're going to be talking about later is just this band here. All right, let me just take off the sound. So they're not really they're here. I was looking at this. I'm going, is this China? Where is this? And I'm like, well, is this some sort of bombed out place? What's going on? Because I look at the name, right? And I was thinking, like, is this Korean or because sometimes I can recognize because I watch a lot of different movies and I'm from international, places, countries and stuff. And so sometimes I can recognize, but like, that doesn't look like China. Could do maybe, And then it's like, I look down, it's like, oh, it's Korea, But so this is what we're talking about, like Jackson. Like I've got a Jackson bass because I've always wanted a Jackson bass because of Dave Mustaine, right? From old school Dave Mustaine. But so
they must.
they've got the look. It's original. I mean, not original. They're not trying to put any facade on. It's just like we can
It's
play
like
good. We don't need.
they play music because sometimes like for example, Slayer or all the guys, Venom with the big armors, like fantasy armors, like they end being the show instead of their music. So you go to see them with this costume, and okay, yeah, music, yeah, bye.
Yeah. Yeah. So I thought it was pretty cool. Like this guy, they're just mailing, and, it's great to see. Like this is the thing about metal that a lot of people don't understand. It's universal. It's like anybody, anywhere can do it. Like I've listened to Mongolian death metal. I'm like heavy metal from Mongolia, right? And so you've got stuff like that. You got Africa, you got South Korea underground, and now you got South Korea, been popping off like this. So I mean, do check these guys out. The link is in the chat. Zinkyo, right? Because they've only got 2 releases so far, but I think they're very good. Really, really quality metal. Now, so without further ado, Tomas, I'll get you to introduce yourself. So let me put you on solo, and we'll go from there.
Hello, everybody. Sorry for the looks. It's really early in the morning here. So, well, my name is Thomas. I'm the artist behind the Tortoise manga, and thanks everybody to be here and welcome.
Awesome. So, so basically, we've been working on for a while on, on the Tortoise, and I'll just bring up some images here so you guys can have a look. Let me make sure I have our young one up there. Give me 1 sec. So the Tortoise is a manga that we've been working on for a bit, and Tomas joined us late last year, wasn't it? Or was it earlier?
In the middle of the Christmas, New Year, we started to talk, and after that, I think we just arranged the things for the manga.
Yeah. So what we had the previous artist on it, and then like it kind of went downhill, and then so we just left it sitting there. And then when Tomas came to us and said, "Hey, look, we're looking for some work," I'm like, "Man, I love your style. Let's do this, because let's put this back up." And so we got some amazing work coming from Tomas on this. And recently he's been translating the robotnation, 44 pages of comic book. And so we're going to talk about that as well, translating, a comic book from English into Spanish. This is the first time I'm actually looking at translating something. So, and not only just one person, but, also Louise, who will be with us next week as well. We'll be live streaming next week with him and talking about his book, Howler, that he's working on. So this is, this is a kind of the main character from that. So let me pop her on here. So this is Amber, and this is one of Louise's character arts pieces here that he's done. And so one thing we did was we stopped for a bit in the middle of issue 2 and did a whole bunch of character pieces to just have something to show as we keep doing the work. And so I love this work, man. Like
thank you.
I love the style of everything, like just the character design. And we had we had the original artist Levi who did the first issue, but and then you come in and just basically take it to a next level and really touched it up and give it a lot of depth. I think that's something that I really like about your work on this. So do you want to carry on talking, and I'll go and find the link for the first issue that people can look at, see a preview of, and because it's only $1 if you want to check out the first issue preview, and see if this is something that interests you. Of course, this is a 4-issue series. It's going to be packed up into a book, and Tomas is going to do the entire thing himself, which I'm really proud of and really excited about. Take it away, Tomas.
Okay. Sorry, I have it's got the connection cut a bit, so here we have a construction, so I didn't hear too much. What did you say? So can you repeat it? Sorry.
Yeah. So do you want to talk about working on this project? I mean, like design the characters, because there were so many. Some of the stuff was already done. And then you've come in and like really lifted it up. I mean, I'm looking at your work, like, and seeing how like you've taken like, I mean, I can't say enough praises, because I really enjoy every time I see artwork come in. And I say, I kind of might sound like facetious because I did about everybody that works on this, but each person has a unique style, and every person that works on that project is very much suited that project. So how do you feel like working on this project for you?
Yeah, for me, it's like a well, it's like a gift from the heavens. I really love to work on the pages, and at the first glance, when I saw the manga, I just check it all and everything. And when you ask me to do like a redesign of the characters, I try to like make a middle ground, just not to make my own style and go to my own way and do a little bit what you want.
Mm,
What the previous artist did, so there's not too much radical changes on the characters. Maybe, for example, Amber, he has her hair, he's a lock here, and okay, I'm gonna leave that because so
yeah,
they are easily recognizable later. It's
yeah,
and easy to each character. For example, Superman has the lock, Clark Kent has the glasses. Okay, that's
yeah.
the signature detail for each character, and it's easy to redo and redo and redo. It's like
Mm.
trying to make the work more like an automatic work, and that's all. It was really interesting. Like, okay, let's figure out how to make things uh, more interesting.
Mm. It's I mean, like, for me, like, when you look at a manga, people have, like, either they like it or they don't. And so there's like, I listen to people on streams and they go, oh, I hate manga because it's like repetitive, it's like very cheaply done, there's all this stuff here, and it's like, there isn't that much depth to it. I'm like, that's because those guys have to get a page out every day, or two pages out every day, and you guys have a whole month to put out a whole book. And it's like
Yeah.
big. And not only that, you have four other people working on that, where this guy who's working on the manga, that's him. He's the writer, he's the artist, he's doing the colors himself, and then he's putting the book, loading it up. And I think I don't like the idea that people like to demean manga like they used to demean comic books now, right? Back in the old days, they call it funny books. Like, it's like, the funny pages, because it was like something that you just wrapped up and you threw away. And now they're treating manga like that because manga is so popular. So the only way you can bring something that's popular down is by demeaning the quality of the work. And I think for us, like, I mean, I like to make sure that every page that we do, that you work on, it lifts up that work. It doesn't just become this, oh yeah, this is cheaply done, or somebody can have something negative to say about it. It's like, listen, look at the page, right? Look at the way it's set up. Look at the depth and the work that's gone into it. This is not a rush job. And so I
No.
think a lot of people, because I watch a lot of YouTube, right? Because all I'm doing is like, writing, working on the comics, having YouTube on the other channel, the other screen, and carry on working. So I listen to a lot of other YouTubers and stuff talk about stuff, and I hate it when they demean not only comic books, but now they're coming, like, using that to, like, prop and stuff up, but also demean the the artists of the manga craft, right? If the manga wasn't that good, why is it so big, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think like recently, I think the art, calling like big bubble, the art world has become a bit more like how you call it, like a competitive field. Like everybody's trying to be rich, famous, and get glory only by drawing and pushing their things. And it's
Mm,
just like, oh, it doesn't matter. I have to make money, and I don't care. And for example, it's like, and that takes to no, this artist is bad, this artist is bad, this one is bad.
yeah.
No, pay attention to me. It's like, and it's at the end of the day, it's depends on the person who reads the manga. Maybe they read and they say, oh no, I don't like it because for me I don't like it. It's okay. And some
Mm.
other garbage. Oh, it's awesome. Thank you.
I think, I mean, like, for me, like, I watch a lot of anime, like, lots. Like, that's like my go-to for entertainment. I don't, I rather watch that than watch a live action now, because for me, people go like, they go, oh, drawings, you can't feel emotional connection to it. You need live action to feel like so a lot of time for me, I'm like, I can feel connection to a 2D or 3D image on the screen. And like the other day, I was watching, what was it called? Mushoku Tensei, which was like jobless reincarnation, right? And there's it's like the end of season 3, and somewhere in there, one of the characters passed away, and like there's this one of the young girls basically just starts boiling her eyes out, and you're like going, because you watched that character, throughout the last 3 seasons, grow, and you've learned about that character, you learned about the character's base in that story, in relationship with all the others. And this is what I think a lot of people don't realize, is that when you're looking at manga, you're not actually just looking at the art form, you're looking at the relationships that each people are building up. And that's something I love about a manga, is the fact that there's relationships, there's genuine concern for each other that you don't see in mainstream comics, which is why I've drawn away from that. And so, because I used to be a huge promoter of comic books, and especially mainstream, right? Now I just can't, I'd rather just go, well, here's an indie comic to read. Here's something what we're doing, and do check out that. This is an older book, back when, like the 90s and 80s and 2000s, where people actually care about the art form, that you can enjoy. And, I can recommend that because I think there's good relationships in that. So with manga, there's a lot of beautiful relationships happens, and that's like, I reincarnated as a slime. You look at that, he goes and builds an entire city, right? And the other thing I was going to mention is later on, we're going to watch Pluto interview with, there's a documentary on what was it, on Netflix that's they've just put out on YouTube with the creator of Pluto. And Pluto's the other one, right?
Naoki Urasawa, it's the one who made Monster. It's like an awesome artist.
That's right. Yeah, you're a huge fan of that, and I'm a huge fan of Pluto, and so I watched that, and I watched the other ones as well that he's done, and he's a great world builder. And myself and Tomas, we talking Skype all the time, and so we're mentioning like comic books, and mentioning mangas and stuff, and find that some of them we actually are similar, and that we have taste in that. So I mean, here, like, this is one of your pages here. Let me just this is on my work software, so working on the lettering and stuff. So I love how you've taken what was previously designed and then made it into your own thing. Like, I love like the characters, each one looks freaking amazing, right? Like, just the you look at the jaws and stuff, and you look at the ladies, and like the boy, the guys have like square jaws, the ladies have a rounded angular jaw, so you can't really say, oh, they look, you can't confuse them, right? And not only that, just the looks and the eyes and stuff is just freaking awesome.
Yeah, that's why I love manga and tend to more cartoony, because you can like exaggerate the expressions, and you can be like more specific with each thing. And that the same that we talked before, I was a bit judgmental with the style, with my style, because everybody's gonna think it's childish, it's for little kids and everything. And no, there's a lot of comics with the cartoony manga style, with creepy stories, really deep stories. It's like, just let it be, let it grow. That's it. It's really awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, like, we did about half of the first issue 2, and then we did the character designs, and then we went back to issue 1 to complete everything in your style, because we're going to put out your own manga. So with your work, and I thought, why not do the complete thing with you involved, because it'll be very uniform, and the work is really good. And I think that's something that even though, like, the problem with people like not really understanding manga is that they don't understand that it's just a comic book in a different style, and then go from that. That's all, right? And
no, sorry, continue.
You carry on.
Okay, no, it's like the here in France that you have the bande dessinée. It's like French Belgian comics. It's just changes the region, the culture, the costumes, everything, and it's just different.
I you know, we've been working on this. I mean, you know, with you for like 7 months and stuff, and did the translations, and you know, so much work has gone in. Like, I mean, like, I love, like I keep saying, you know, like there is like so much work that goes into these each one of these pages. They're not like, we don't just, okay, here, do this and then it's done. Like myself and whichever artist I'm working, we're talking about it because the idea here all the time about how to make, you know, lift the page, lift the dialogue, lift whatever, because I'm still going to be working on it until it's in print, you know. So one thing, you know, we do a lot of is like communicate about how things should look and where they should, you know, fit in. Like, I mean, you know, there's so much that goes into a panel that a lot of people who aren't in comics or haven't looked at making comics don't really understand. Like the depth of field, like, you know, like he's here in front of us, and there's a kid at the back there, and then way back, you know, so you can't try and size up how big he is, but way back here you got the darkness, you got little, you know, little trees are way in the back there, and then further on, and all that layering of that, and you know, and you can see that easier in comics because it's got color in it. And I think because it's in black and white, people kind of like don't pay attention to that. But like as an artist and someone who's read comics for about, you know, going probably 40 years now, you know, I can see everything that's on that panel, you know, and like you look at this one here, you know, you got like, you know, the tribal homes at the back, the mountains and stuff, you know, then you got the sky, you got the clouds, and this one here we're looking at, you know, how you're doing the depth of, like, what is it called? Like that's the perspective, right?
Oh yeah.
Do you want to talk about the perspective side of things?
Yeah, I use the first thing that I use is the perspective. Sorry, perspective. It's like I remember that from the Loomis book. That when the first thing that you do is horizon line perspective. Sorry, I can too many language today. You use the perspective,
Yeah, I
and
get tied up as well. Don't worry about it.
and later on you start to arranging things. This is closer, this is far away, one here, and use the perspective as a guide, and it's really easy.
It's like looking at these young kids here, right? Like you can see, like just look at these little kids. It's like you can already kind of like get like what's going on there. Like they're a bit scared, they're holding on to mom, and in that one single panel, you get everything that you need to understand about what's going on right there. You know, uh, you know. So yeah, it's this is the thing about it. Like even like, you know, when you look at the here, like she's, you know, you can, sorry, it's a bit small, but you can see here she's like, you know, she's got a towel wrapped around her, she's waving her hair and so on. I mean, wiping hair, and you know, it's just, this is like one of the things about like about this is like, because I come from Fiji, right? So Fiji, we have similar kind of like homes like this, with like jute, you know, like grass, straw, kind of like reed rooftops, which are like this. And so when I was writing this, I was thinking this is cool to kind of like bring the tribal side of Fiji, indigenous Indians, Fiji indigenous people, which is the Fijians, and also bring a bit of like the Indian culture into it as well, because very much what's happened is the Indian culture and the way they do things, you know, meeting and stuff, is very similar to now how the Fijians do, because they've been there for like about 100 years or so, you know, probably 140 years now. And so, you know, something like this, they all kind of sit around, and it's kind of awesome watching all this and like seeing each of these characters get designed by you in a separate way, you know. It's really awesome.
Thank you.
So
It was a bit difficult at the beginning, but I never did like scenes with too many people, so I was like, "Oof, okay, let's do it."
and plus, I mean, like that's what I was looking at this. I was saying, okay, we got to make sure there's like little, you know, important. We can use this for little important promotional pieces or whatever, because it's such a great looking piece, when you remove all the remove all these other bubbles and so on, you just get to see all these characters. And one of the things that we're doing here with issue 2, right? We're looking at issue 2. Issue 1 is being worked on now. You see the way the people sit and stuff, and the customs, and you're trying to there's a lot of cultural things in this book that that if you look, you'll see that there's a lot of ethnic cultures have this. I mean, you're from Argentina, right? Or that's where you're from, but in France now. But what are some cultural things about your culture that kind of maybe line up with this, or maybe it's totally different to what is going on in these scenes here?
Oh, it's I think that I didn't see the main culture of Argentina is what a bit lost, because a lot of colonization and immigration after World War II, and native from the Argentinian land, it's like almost non-existence. But it's like the same as the Aztecs, the how do you call it, the other ones? Sorry, I forgot.
Mayans.
The Mayans and everything. It's like, but the arrangement of the houses sometimes are like a bit the same. Maybe it's a more modernized today, but like the spiritual culture is like almost the same. The Mother Earth, connection with nature, respecting the nature, they own rules, respect everyone, everything, and they own even their own rules and way of life between family, and it's like almost like the same, but different.
Yeah, I think like a lot of like more like primitive cultures, and I'm not saying that in a demeaning way. It's primitive because they're more grounded to the land around them. So they take from the sea what they need. They take from the forest what they need, and from the ground what they need, right? And then when you plant your home or your gardens and stuff, it's there to supply you and your village, right? So you're not trying to like take excess. And then also there's like the spiritual side of it, as you mentioned, the Mother Earth and so on, and that sort of culture. So one of the things, like, I mean, when we look at this book, going into issue 3 and 4, there is a lot more kind of religion things coming into this book that we haven't actually opened up into. I mean, I lost like 30 pages of issue 3, or and like because of software, and I was like, so I haven't, I've kind of held off writing that, but I know exactly what happens. I know where it's gonna, where the beats are, and it's kind of like interesting thing, the idea that these two girls, right, are going from a European Western society, democracy of freedoms of everything, they could do whatever they want, and into a very closed off society, which even though they know that like the Western, like so-called like the society, the world is moving on, technologically sound, and the cars are driving around. They don't care. They want to live their life in their village with their own people, and they're not really welcoming of strangers. Yet these two young ladies are being welcomed in, and it's going to be interesting to see how. I mean, I know what's going on, but it's going to be interesting to see how people kind of see this story, because it's not a very fast burn book. I mean, it's 4 issues. It develops into things, and you learn a lot about the people. You learn about the culture. You learn about Amber. You learn about her girlfriend, fiance. Her fiance. I should say girlfriend anymore, because she's like a girlfriend. Then she becomes a fiance in that 2-year period, and now she's a fiance. And so so at this stage she's a fiance, and they've gone into this very opposite society compared to what they're used to. And it's going to be interesting to see how people see this world, right? Because a lot of times people who come, I mean, even now, people don't understand like what farming is like, right? It's just so they don't really get it. Oh, my food comes through the grocery store. I take it home. I cook it. Yay!
Yeah,
but they don't understand.
times.
Yeah, I mean, like you've worked on orchards and stuff, right? What has that been like? Like working on stuff like that. Was it in Italy you were working on that?
Sorry, what?
I mean, working with like plants. I mean, like cultivation, right? Like picking fruits and stuff. I mean, when you're working in Italy, were you doing that sort of work, or was it something different? I was
No,
trying to
no. So
remember.
in Italy, it was like also not fully working because it was low season, so everything closed. And but from farming, I never do that. I never had the experience from doing farming. But
Right.
we wanted with my fiance, we wanted to go to New Zealand to make some cherry farming, but we never had the chance. So
Oh, okay.
also here in France, you have like the grapes farming for the wine.
Yeah.
And they say it's like 2 weeks of intense work. Your hands really gonna end hurting your back, and it's like 2 weeks of full work, and you end. It's like it's impossible after that.
Yeah, it's what they call, in New Zealand, they call it season work, right? It's like seasonal work. You go pick the fruit, and then throughout the next season, it grows back, and then you go pick the fruit, and then you go somewhere else, and like you say, like cherry picking, which would be like South Island around Christchurch, Queenstown, is where they would pick that. Like it's like a lot of the seed fruits, like pears and not pears, sorry, peaches and apricots, nectarines, and that sort of, and cherries with the seed fruit, and so one thing, like it's kind of like, I mean, I'm kind of like thinking like how, with like when we're telling the story, how much we bring to the to issue one, how much we show there, and then how much we show issue two of what's going to be coming, and it's going to be because it's kind of like a slow burn movie. And the closest I can think about it is like the Green Holocaust, I think was a movie from
Green, Green Inferno.
Green Inferno. That's
Yeah,
it. It's
because
Green Inferno,
the original
right?
is
And
Cannibal Holocaust. That's the horrible one, and Green Inferno is like
yeah,
the more normal one. I saw Green Inferno. I just everybody says it's like the goriest movie ever, Green Inferno, but it's like no, it's like
no,
you see that it's mock-up, it's the effects. You see that's not a leg. You can obviously see it, but I never
yeah,
had the courage to see Cannibal Holocaust. That's the original one. That they say it's terrible, and
yeah.
I don't want to see it.
Yeah, so I mean, like the reason I say it's a like Green Inferno, right? I always keep thinking of the Holocaust because of the Cannibal Holocaust, and I've seen both of those, like and so because there's a two-part on that, if I remember right, and I like the most horrible horror thing I've seen is Hostel and uh, Human Centipede, right? They're the two things that I wish I'd never seen. And there are other ones that are more horrible. And so this is like, the Tortoise is in vein of like the Green Inferno, a throwback to that sort of, you know, there's another movie that's just come out, like it's called 11 Eyes or something. That's like people going to like these tourists going to Serbia. So that is basically the idea of the concept, but without being that concept about the tortoise, right? Because the tortoise is about these two young loving couple, two females, fiancés, whatever, partners, going over to another country, and then because one of them Amber decides she's to go there because she's heard this story about a myth about that people, the Wabo, and their relationship to the two tortoises, two turtles, and their history, and now she wants to go find out. And so it's like these guys, right? Like, we heard these people exist over there, and now let's go help them because we are and the
They
thing
need
about,
technology, democracy, and everything.
yeah, they need our ways, but they're like, we like our ways. We're not really into that. So it's kind of interesting to, kind of represent that, because like I'm an immigrant, right? So I understand what that's like when you're, when you're immigrant, you're learning new places, new things, and so you're going into this new place. How do you fit in? What is the language like? What's the character of people like? Do they believe in the same things you do? Is do you because I remember like calling in Fiji, if another older females around the house or whatever is visiting, you go call them auntie, because it's just a show of respect. I remember doing that to one of my friends' mothers, and they laughed at me, and I was like, and then you call the guy uncle, right? So I'm like, yeah, but that's your mum and your dad, and I can't call them by their name, so I'm going to call them auntie, right? And so there was that sort of cultural clash, and that's something I wanted to also bring into this. It's like, hey, what is it like when you do something that people may miscrew or whatever, how they mistake what you're saying for something else. And we see a lot of that now, right? You say something and people will mistake that for something else because it's on the receiver, right? It's not like how I'm saying it. It's like, hey, Tomas, this is great work. And then like, you kind of think like, yeah, well, maybe he doesn't think that, and because that's what, but yet I'm going, this is how I feel about it. And so that's the thing about culture. I think a lot of people, when you're talking about things, can be misconstrued wrongly because the person who's saying is, you're not seeing them sometimes because of social media or whatever behind the scene, or because their cultures are totally different in how they've been brought up. Now you're living in, you're over in France, and you're from, grown up in Argentina. What has it been like for you, experiencing, first Italy and now France?
Okay, what's really different for me, like when you hear some things from each country. For example, you go to Japan, for example. Oh, they are righteous, they are structured and everything. Like how you tell it, the worldly judgmentals of each country. And here, for example, in Italy, they say, oh no, in Italy they are a bit racist. Or for example, here in France, be careful because they don't speak English and they get angry at you. And when you first arrive, it's like it all depends on the people you encounter. In Italy, it was like really interesting how many people started to they scream at each other. They look like they're like fighting, but like, hey, what? You're gonna come to dinner? Yeah, with your wife. Yeah, and you think that they're fighting? No, it's okay. They're just speaking. And in France, here, you hear no, they don't like to speak in English. And when you go to a store or you speak with someone, you say like, they speak in French, and if you don't understand, you can speak you in English or in another language. Okay, but please try to speak in French. Okay, cool. And also the food here is really really different. Like when you go, can you give me a cappuccino, please? Yeah, it's like this. And when you go to Italy, can they have a coffee? Yes, espresso.
Yeah.
If you order that, for example, a macchiato in Argentina, it's here like this. In Italy, macchiato is like this, and it's different. It's also, well, you have the bad experience with people that are really, like in every country, like people who don't like foreigners, and they say, go back to your country. What the hell are you doing here?
Yeah.
But it all depends on the mood of the people and the places of the people. In Italy, I went. I didn't have the chance to live on downtown. For example, Rome. I just passing by like a tourist. But later on, we started to live in a little town or near the coast, and the people were really nice. And people say, "Oh, don't worry, really, how is it? Slow pace. Like they make their lives slowly, no problem. Everybody stops at 12 to sleep, and they reopen the store at 4." So it's like that. In the city, it's different. Like
there is a difference, like you said, like the rural life and the suburban life, right? If you lived an entire life in a city, you don't understand like there's a difference, right? As well, it's like within like cultures, there's an actual difference within the same country between the rural and the suburban. And so if you lived your entire life in the city and you go to like a small town, you feel out of place because you're like, what do I do here? There's nothing to do. Where's the cafe? What what are we doing tonight? Oh, are we just going to go to the pub and hang out? It's like, what? So you guys just go and sit at the pub for like 2 hours and talk to people? That's all you do? Can't we go to the movie? Well, there's no movies. Just come over to my house and watch it. So, what has it been like for you? Trying to, because you work as well. So, what has it been like trying to work and be around people that totally don't speak your language? Because I mean, they speak English, of course, to communicate. But what has it been like, trying to that sort of situation? Has it been too alien, or has it been easier because you're able to speak English as well, or is it because they're just busy and they want to get the work done?
Um, it all depends also, like I said before, the people, because when I normally in the real story, I arrived in France last year. We have like a visa for working, and the first encounter with the French people at work is like everybody says, no, we're going to speak French because you are in France and you have to speak French, but I don't speak French. Can you speak me in English? No.
Yeah.
But you need me to do a work. Can you speak in English? No. And then you go to do the work, you did it bad, and you get schooled, like, why do you do it like that? Because I didn't understand. Like,
Yeah.
what do you want me to do? Like,
Yeah.
and after you start to speak with other people, it's because in the group there were a lot of people that speaks English, and they say, "Oh no, if you want, I can translate for you." And also, I can teach you how to speak, how to take that. And at the end of the season, we ended up speaking French.
Wow.
Yeah, it's and was like a bit of like why some people are like that. Like for example, right now that I'm working on a how you call it? I forgot the name. Like is it the guy who brings the food and everything? Wait, waiter.
Produce, the driver, delivery guy.
Yeah, on the restaurant, I'm working like a waiter, taking orders sometimes, and
Oh, right.
also,
Yeah.
for example, my boss, he speaks English and Spanish, and he speaks me in French, and he says, if you don't understand, I can speak in English or in Spanish. No, it's okay, don't worry.
Right.
But the rest of the team speaks me everything in French.
Right.
I think they don't want to, because it's difficult to speak several languages at the same time when you're working with people. It's like you have to stop and do that, and I get why they do that.
Yeah, I think there's also like your brain, like you were just saying before, right, earlier, that like your brain's trying to work out what what information I'm receiving and how to put it out. And if you're speaking language, you're trying to make sure that's the right word you're putting out. You always refer back to your mother tongue because it's easier, right? And for me, it's like English is easier for me. It's like it's become my mother tongue, even though I grew up speaking Hindi and I can still speak it a little bit around my family, but I won't speak it all the time because I confuse myself, and and it sounds really bad when I speak it. And I remember like giving a speech a couple of years ago, and I was saying Satan, but I meant God. Right? And it's like, because
That's
my brain's going, well, that's what it's supposed to mean, and it's not really working. And so you can get yourself into a lot of trouble, and I think because of misunderstandings. And I think that's why, I, that's something I wanted to pour into, like the whole story behind the tortoise, is all this sort of stuff, because they the girls go in thinking, we just want to learn from you about your culture, and we're open, and we're from the West, and we've we're kind people, we have morals, we've come and done some work, and we see them helping build like help with like weeks worth of kind of like Habitat for Humanity for these people, one of the chiefs, and then they arrive at another chief's place, and then that chief freaking puts down the other chief. You're right. How dare you let these Westerners and you kind of like it's like that sort of thing. It's like, because there is that as well. It's like, because within the own culture, there's division from like tribe to tribe. and you could be like, okay, those people there treated you really well. We're going to treat you even better, you know, because we want to outdo those guys.
Yeah,
Have you
they
faced that as well, like, you know, over in you know, like Italy and France?
like
You
well,
know,
something
people trying
like
to outdo each other to, you know, to be, you know, to, to make themselves look better to you than the other person. You know, it's like
and the opposite way. They treat you worse because they treat you even worse. Like that.
it's kind of like that whole idea we have in New Zealand. It's like, don't get a big head, right? Like don't get too you know, too full of yourself, because like it's like otherwise, you know, you might become arrogant, you know, or something.
Yeah.
But I think one of the great things about, you know, working with people like yourself, like Louise will be with us next week talking about the Howler you know, mythological creature monster book that we're working with him on. And then also working with, you know, with Iwakim, who's working on a isekai fantasy you know, series, and just like learning the cultural things. Like there's right now in Sweden it's midsummer, and I said to, you know, I said to, is that like the movie Midsummer? And he goes, kinda, but you know, not that full on. Like if you got, you know, if you guys know, the Midsummer is a horror movie, right? So let me just bring that up if you've never, you know, if you don't know what that
It's
is.
so weird, that movie. Like, what the hell is happening? I don't understand, but I like it.
Yeah, and that was it. And he was like talking about, this is what it's midsummer right now in Sweden, and we're going to take a couple weeks off, and I'm going to go hang out with my parents. I'm going to take the kids out there, and okay, so you know, like, oh, is it, you know? So I'm like, all I have a reference to midsummer is the movie, and he goes, yeah, it's like where we celebrate these things, and in the past, that's what our culture used to be like. And so, if you've ever seen this horror movie, right, you know, like I gave it a 6 because I didn't understand it. Now I understand it. I would give it a 7, right? And because like now I know it's a real thing and how it's part of their culture, and it's their ancestry, their you know, their history. And same thing, like, you know, you're talking about like these people, you know, a bit of a spoiler if you haven't seen it. It's been around for like freaking what, 14 years, 15 years. So, you know, or was it, no, sorry, 2019. So it's 6 years it's been there, right? 5 years. So you probably should have seen it by now if you're into horror. But
Yeah.
you know, these basically a group of like, sorry, this couple goes home to their family and they take their friends with them from America or wherever, right? And it's like another thing. It's like a cultural clash. And the reason I mentioned that is it's very, like, again, like the Green Inferno. That's basically what our manga, you know, the Tortoise is about. It's kind of within that line of that cultural clash, that culture of whatever. If it's a good culture clash, or if it's a bad culture clash, it is a culture clash, right? Because at the end of the day, you know, there's a person from, you know, one culture, and a group from another, you know, two people from one culture, one group from another culture, right? And you get these guys and they turn up, and you know, and they have a different life. They have different ideas. So, you know, one thing, like, I mean, from for me, you know, when I come up with a story, I then go and do the logo or mess around with it, and then I do the outline. But then I'll get images of, um, I'll Google search hard out, like I'll go into research mode and learn about um, these different ethnic cultures, and then create my own culture. Like the Wabo don't exist as a culture. So, but aspects of the Wabo are from all these different cultures, like Africa, from Indonesia, Pacific Islands, South America. All this come into it. Like I'll go in and like I'll get photos, right? I'll show you some, you know, this is, and so I'll send these to, you know, to the artists, as you know, especially with sorry, with Tomas here. I'll send them like character references and say, hey, this is what I'm thinking in my head. And from there, we'd get like, okay, so, let me see what we've got here. So usually, I'll have a whole bunch of like reference material, and we'll look at like research and like, here's some I had to do on Tortoise because I had no idea the life cycle of a tortoise. What was the whole deal? And so, I found this sort of stuff, right? Which kind of like was kind of sad, but also gave it a big background to that. So let me come on up, buddy. So I'm waiting for this image to come up, but it doesn't want to come up.
Computers, they feel the fear.
Yeah, why are you failing me now? All right, let me see if I can find something else. There was a really cool, like, here we go. So this one came up easy. So this is like I said, learning about like conservation, man. Like, I'm into conservation, but when I did, looked into the tortoise and the green turtle itself, like a green sea turtle, I was like, oh, okay. So they're not like unlimited resource, right? They need to be looked after. They can live for century, which is something. Yeah, carry on.
No, it's like, yeah, they live long. Like, God damn it, I hear about tortoises that they live 100 years and plus, and they're like big tortoise, and it's like, come on,
Yeah.
they're like immortal. Like, come on.
And so, like, the research for this was into the green sea turtle, but we turned out and I started using something different. I think I went into I can't remember the name of it. It's here somewhere, but it's a different like this. This is the sea turtle, right? The green sea turtle, which is from the Pacific Islands, and so they're very much endangered right now, which is what I'm saying. Like, it's kind of sad. Like when I was finding out about this, but they're beautiful creatures, and it was kind of sad learning that sort of side of them, like the aspect of, that these, they, they're endangered, but with, that's why I put in the, like, when I was putting out, like, showing off, not showing off, like, talking about what you will find in this book, like, what is it called? Topics, right? You'll find there will be nudity later on. There will be like mature content. There's horror scenes. There's supernatural. There's fantasy, and then there's also conservation. So you're not just gonna like just have a comic book that's a manga that's just there to be entertaining. But also something to really think about. And I don't usually do that, but I thought this was really something to kind of get people to think about an endangered species, because we think they'll live forever. But like the thing about turtles, the moment they get out of the egg, they're hunted, like from birth. Like the moment they get out, right? They're just like crazy hunted, like by birds. They'll just wait there for them to get out of that thing. So for a tortoise turtle, little baby, to actually be in the sea, he's a survivor of genocide, right? Of a turtle genocide. You could say that because, it's just crazy. And so, we start with the first issue. We talk, page or two about the whole, turtle, and then because it's kind of like the show with Amber, and why she's got this connection to this turtle, and why she goes on this journey. So let me bring up some images from the other characters as well, because we've got some awesome art here. We had Tomas go and do some character designs for just for like pinups and stuff. It's kind of promo pieces. Let me get to the right one.
Oh, sorry.
Carry on. I need to open this into another file. Excuse me. It's a PDF. Photoshop file, but let me open up and I'll show you guys this other one while we look at the baby turtle. So the mother lays the egg, and puts sand over and goes away. That's it. You're on your own, kids.
Like, you're ready. You're an adult. Go. You don't need me.
Yeah. You're on your own. Nobody's gonna look after you, and that's one of the things that it's very very interesting about this is these little babies are left on their own, and no one's there to protect them, and it's hope.
Yeah, that's sad and interesting at the same time. They have the strength to go on without the mother, father, and they continue on to living. And it's and the other thing is why you leave them there? There's a lot of other animals. They even take care of other animals or baby animals. For example, I think the squirrels that they take care of babies that the mother left behind because they were weak or they have a disease, but some other squirrels they take them with them, they adopt another person's baby. What?
So this is Kirsten, this is Amber's love interest, the two ladies, right? And so this is a character design we did for that Tomas did. And I just love the design work on these characters, man. I can't tell you enough how much I love them. They look so three-dimensional to me because they have their own something that was in my head is now on paper, and you can see that now and becomes real. So that when you read the manga, that hopefully you guys will get attached to that. Now, to those characters, there is, however, an introductory first issue with the original artwork for $1 at our, it's over here. You can, it's the links in the chat. You can go check it out later for about 99 cents, basically. And that's from the original artwork. Now, Tomas of course, is doing the entire 4-issue, manga himself. So we're looking at something like about 120 pages plus all the other artwork and all the stuff that will go into it. We are also going to be releasing this comic into this manga into single issue comics, so they have their own 4 covers and stuff. And I think about 4 of the covers have already been done by James Hill, who's one of our go-to guys for cover art, and they look gorgeous, brilliant. And then of course, like I said, we're going to put these out as a graphic novel, manga. I want to because we're talking about the turtle, right, and their life cycles and stuff. So there's a little video, 3-minute video, and then we'll move on to looking at Pluto, because you're a huge fan of that artist, right? You're what's his name? Urasawa.
Naoki Urasawa.
Yeah, Urasawa. Naoki Urasawa. So we have a look at that interview soon. But here's the, this is the Green Turtle Survival, this from BBC's Planet Earth. And, we'll have a watch of this. And then we'll move on to talking about this artist, this, another world builder who's, technology and stuff. Naoki Urasawa from Japan. And he's done a lot of amazing, sci-fi manga, which has been turned into anime. So let me make sure these things are right, and then we'll go for that.
Swimmers also come to Ascension to breed. A female green turtle approaches the coast. She's not eaten once in 2 months. She may have traveled 1,000 miles from her feeding grounds, the greatest journey of her kind. Many others are here too, resting on the sandy sea floor, awaiting the darkness of night when it'll be safer to visit the beaches. Eggs that were laid a few weeks ago at the start of the season are beginning to hatch. Most hatchings happen at night. Now, in the light of day, the young are extremely vulnerable. They must get to the sea as soon as possible. But their trials have only just begun. Many will drown in the pounding waves. During the next 20 years, the vast majority will inevitably die. But those that survive will eventually, as their mothers did before them, return to the very same beach where they were hatched. How they find their way back across thousands of miles of open ocean, we still have no idea.
Imagine that, like, even after making it into the water, you still have a chance of not surviving.
It's like
And, like,
hard mode.
Yeah.
Like,
getting drowned by your world, right? Like, the
Yeah.
water is your world, and then like that water is going to kill you before you can get there. You know, it's been like left to like the wilderness, and you're like there. Bye, kids. You're on your own.
nature.
Exactly right. Nature. I mean, like, just crazy. And I think a lot of people, you know, that's why I love learning about nature and stuff like that. I like, you know, so this video here is, it's got spoilers for Pluto and stuff. This is from Netflix anime. And, you know, this is why, like, I you know, I have deep respect for art form. It's been my, you know, part of my life along with music forever. And so this, you know, I remember watching this, and right, there you go. So this is from Naoki Urasawa and my uni on the passion of drawing. So I only came across this today because somebody shared this on Artist Against AI channel, group on Facebook, and I was like, oh, I know Pluto. I'll just throw it up there. And I really loved it. And then there was another one. The name of it, I think I've got it here somewhere. Let me find out. Biomega, right? It's Biomega,
Biomega.
and
Yeah. Blame and was the other one, and Avara was the other lad that I had here somewhere. This was
where's the one, like the one in the space? That's the one. There's the other one that's in the space, right?
Knights of Sidonia.
Yeah, nuts. Yeah, man, great work. I mean, like, I you know, for me, like, I you know, as a creator, as a writer, I work in all genres, right? But I have a passion for sci-fi. It's like that sci-fi fantasy has been like my thing that I've always gone to, like, to escape into. Even when I'm like been feeling really down, I'll go and watch, I'll go and watch a sci-fi show or whatever. Now I'll just watch anime, you know, and just sort of like kind of like look at all these cool, artwork and great stories and watch that. And, so this video is only about 37 minutes long, but we'll only watch a couple of minutes of it, and then we'll finish off because I know it's your morning, and it's Saturday, Friday for you. You got it's a work day for you today, right?
It is Saturday for me today.
Oh, so it's Saturday morning, so it's Saturday night,
Yeah.
right? So, yeah. Well, plus, I don't want to take too much of the time because I want you're gonna get. Is your partner's day off as well today, or is it just yours?
No. Today I work at after at 4 p.m. I have to get to work at 4 p.m. I get out at 12. So,
Right. So I'm gonna, I'm not gonna spend too much time on this and just let
don't worry.
you go hang out and do some stuff with your partner because I know how important it is, like for that. So let's have a look at this, and then we'll do probably go for another about. Let me check my time here. Probably another 15 minutes, and then we'll finish.
Yeah, sure.
So let me know if you want to stop and talk about what's being said, and so we'll stop and talk through this. Because there's some really cool things I think someone like him would talk about because of his amazing creativity and just his world building is amazing, right? And I love Pluto. Pluto is such a cool show. I saw the anime. I haven't read the comic book. I mean the manga. I would like to do something soon, right? So without further ado.
Okay.
This right.
自己紹介とかするんですか？
もう始まってます。自己紹介して。これ始まってます。
始まって。
I need to turn off my translator.
Okay.
So here we go.
自己紹介とかするんですか？
もう始まってます。自己紹介して。これ始まってます。
始まってますよ。
よろしくお願いし
よろしくお願いし
ま。
ますす。浦沢です。
米山舞と申します。よろしくお願いします。もともと私アニメーターで、
はい
今イラストレーターをやってて、
はい
映像も作家としてやってる。
いきなりアニメーターなんですか？
そうです。
アニメ
19で。
ーターの前って
そうです
絶対お絵描きしてるんじゃないですか。
もちろん、3歳ぐらいからやってます。
ですよね
はい。
大体みんな3歳ぐらいから描いてますよね。
そうです。
はい気がついたら描いてるんですもんね。
そうです、そうです。で、中学の頃は漫画家とか、
はい
挿絵画家とかなりたかったんですけど、
はい
ちょうどアキラとか、
はい。
広角機動隊とか、あと老人 Z とかを OVA 借りてみて、
はいはい
衝撃受けちゃって、
は
で、高校の進学の時にアニメーターになろうって決めて。
い。大友克洋が悪いんですね。
そうです。
やっぱり革命が起きてたからね、あの頃。
そうなんですよ。
そうですよね
もう本当になんかこう、絵の作り方とか、カットのアクションの付け方とか、
はい
もう本当かっこよくて、こんなにうまい絵があるの
人間の形がちゃんとしたんですよ。
そうです、そうです。
そうなんです。なんかこう、こういうのあるじゃないですか。当時やっぱりこういう感じのさ、こういう人間のフォルムがさ、こういう肩の筋肉とかさ、鎖骨とかさ、こう全てがこうちゃんとしたじゃない。
そうなんですよね。
この感じがさ、なんかこう描いてみたいって
いや、そうなんですよ。
思うよね、こういうのね。
あと顔の立体感とかもそうじゃないですか。鼻とか。
で、今こう偶然描きましたけど、このうつむき加減みたいな。早い。この完全にメビウスですよね。
そうですね。
そう。こういう感じがね、描きたいなって。
Here's the thing, right? He mentions Mobius. And Mobius is if I remember, he's a French artist whose name is Gerard
John Giroux.
Gerard Giroux, right? Yeah. And but here's a Japanese artist, and he's watching other people's work, and he could just go, yeah, this is what this looks like. Because here's something that a lot of people don't understand, and why AI sucks, and people call themselves AI artists idiots, is like when you're doing art, you're getting inspiration for actual artists. you're not ripping off those artists. You actually see their work, and like, you know, I've got like I don't know, maybe hundreds and hundreds of graphic novels and comic books in this place, right? There's not enough room for me to actually, you know, put them. And you know, I've still got like things in boxes because, you know, there isn't enough room for them. But they're from all over the world because of all the great artists, and you know, that I take my inspiration from. Great artists, I take my writers, I take my inspiration from. One of them being like, you know, Alan Moore. You know, I'll take my writing style from him, and you know, and then got Ennis and Warren Ellis, and then of course my inspiration for relationship writing from anime and manga, right? So I think when it comes to AI people, they just tap in a couple of words. There's no inspiration. There's no intent to learn. There's no intent to skill up. You know, it's just like, oh, I'm just going to take this, I'm going to take that, I'm going to take that and chuck it out. And now it's mine. And then I'll sell it, right? But you know, here's Naoki going, Urasawa going, you know, hey, this is like that because this, we had, you know, I got inspired by this guy. And she's saying, like she said, she got inspired when she was 19, you know, growing up, and when she started, you know, being an animator at 19, she was looking at Ghost in the Shell, one of my favorite. I've got like figures of, you know, oh, what's the name? Makoto Kurosawa. I got it wrong. Major Kusanagi.
Kusanagi.
Yeah.
Makoto Kusanagi.
Yeah, and then he also, you know, he also says about Akira and stuff, and you know, these are all things that like that you, if you're you know, worth any salt as an artist, know them because they're that's what has you know, kind of like given. These are the people that have given our comic book and manga and our sequential art culture their bones, right? These are giants that we can step on the backs of to work on and write new works of. You know, I'm like, you know, you've read a lot of you know, Naoki's work, right? With Blame, with Biomega and stuff. You know, when you look at that work, you know, how do you feel about that? You know, when you're doing your manga work.
The first glance is like, I wish I could be like them, like drawing like them. Like that's the first thought. Like, oh, they're like so good, and never gonna be like this good. And after that, it's like first like, how the hell did they get this idea? How they made it? Why this? Why that? And then later on, starting to decompose their style. Like, okay, line. Gradients, perspective, everything. Okay, and we, for example, sometimes I research their backgrounds, like where do they go to study, which career they do. For example, Naoki is, I think he made economics at university. He didn't even get to art school. He's a musician. Right. He also writes some things, and it's like, what the hell has to do with manga? And so why?
Yeah.
It's like, and then later on they say that their inspirations, the things they do. Who, for example, Naoki started to watch the mangas from the artist from Mazinger Z.
Yeah.
And it's like, but you don't look like you draw like the same that guy. And it's like really, it's, for example, you say, I really like how Naoki draws, and you draw so totally different. And you say, he's my inspiration, like, but you are really different from him. Like, it's weird. Like, you don't understand, but at the same time, you understand why.
Yeah, and that's the difference between like someone who's like trying to learn from someone, and then someone who's trying to take from someone, right? Which AI is all about taking. But here, like, I mean, like, you know, you got two amazing, you know, you've got two Mai here, and you got Nike here. Someone who's come from animating to illustrating, and someone who's just been illustrating. Like you said, he used to be a musician. It didn't economics studies, didn't even do anything to do with you know, art, and yet one of the most important manga creators around in the scene because of all the great sci-fi stories that he's told, you know, and it just stands out as like amazing. And like now, you know, with Pluto being picked, you know, being kind of like picked up and being animated part of Netflix, it's just such an amazing thing. I think seeing that on there.
思う。
そうです
その
ね。
これほどこういう感じって、書きたい衝動が湧くんですよね。
そうなんですよ。しかもそれが動いてるじゃないですか。
そう。
もうなんか感動しちゃって、
ね、
こんなにうまい絵に命吹き込まれてるんだっていう。
なんぞこんなんあれだよ、こうさ、こんなものがこう角度でやっちゃっていいんだみたいなさ。
それまではそんなに漫画とかの中ではあんまりなかったんですか？
この角度が魅力的になるみたいな。
ああ、すごい。
ね。わかるでしょこれ。
わかります。
こういうのね。後ろ向きが素敵なんてなかなかね。
そうですね。
こういう革命がなんかあの時起きてた感じしますね。
そうですね、そうですね。デッサン的に説得力があるというか。
そう。もうこんなん見たらもう描きたいってなるよね。
そうなんです、そうなんです。それでアニメーターに、なった感じです。
米山さんの絵ってさ、目がさ、
私も描こ
う。例えばなんだ、こんなんやったじゃん。こういうさ、ここのさ、ここのまぶたの裏側。
肉のところですね。
そうそう。でさ、米山さんのさ、素晴らしいとこってさ、
You can see the two things, right?
ここのさ、
traditional and digital.
目がさ、この涙袋が上がってる感じ。
そうですね。
あれ、いいよね。
嬉しいです。見てくださって。
なんか、こういう感じ、こういう感じのがあったの。
すごい。すごい、高速で。
こんなんあったよね。
そうですね。
で、あとはもう、これだよね。なんか知らないけど、なんかこんなんなってるよね。
恥ずかしい。わー。
こういう感じあるよね。
そうです、
あれ素敵よね。あれこそデジタル技じゃないですか。
そうですね。なんか結構細かいところも。
こんないくら、こんな、マーカーで書いたってさ、ニッチもサッチもいきませんよ。あれさ、やっぱり、こんな感じですよね。
そうです。
いい感じですよね。
自分が普段描いてる角度描いてくださってる。すごい。
この角度が描きたいっていうのは、絵が好きなんだなと思うんですよ。
やはり、そう思いますか。なんかやっぱり煽り顔とか、どうしても描きたくなっちゃうんですよね。なんかこう、顎の下の空間とか。こうね。どうしてもこう、表現
正しい煽ってる顔っていうのは、やっぱりどんだけ描きたいかね。
そうなんですね。
あと、正しいうつむき顔ね。ほんと描きたいよね。
鼻が口にかかってるとかいいですよね。浦沢さんの漫画でよく見ますけど、こう下向いた時に表情芝居がすっごい好きで、浦沢さんの漫画とかそれこそ昔読んでて、表情がすごい秀逸だったので、すごく影響を受けてました。
表情ね。何でもない表情ね。
そうです、そうです。
眉毛がクッて上がるとかね。
そうです。お聞きしたかったんですけど、眉毛すごく大事にされてますよね。
眉毛の角度ね。
そうですよね。なんか目もそうなんですけど、眉毛がすごいポイントだなって。
相手が何かおかしなことを言って、はいってなった時の眉毛のクッてやつね。
そうですね。私も眉毛のコントロールすごくこう微細にしてるので、すごく浦沢さんそれが顕著だなって。
ああいうのを割とちゃんと書くと、セリフ少なくて済むんですよ。
あ、そういうことなんですね。その表情で。
セリフの代わりの。
なるほど。
表情をちゃんと。
That's interesting, right? Like, remember, like I was talking about you. Let me bring that page up about how, like, just with the kids holding, you know, onto mum, right? Let me hop over to where are we? Get that really enlarged. Right there, right? Just holding on to mum with that look, you know, you already know what's going through their head. bit of fear, bit of apprehension. Like, look at the eyebrows, right? Just you know, you can just basically see, you know, even if you didn't even watch the mouth here, you can already see with the eyes and the eyebrows what they're thinking. You know, like, oh, mom, you know, who are these freaking people? You know, whatever. You know,
weird.
yeah, it's like, hey, protect me. You know, I'm a bit scared here. You know, because you see this other one, you don't really see it in great detail, but when you just see that, you know, and that's what he's talking about, right? He's saying, like, if you can, you know, if you can do the eyebrows right, you don't have to write too many texts, right? It already gives away. I mean, it already fills the detail, right? If you make the facial expressions act, you know, it's just you don't have to fill in the words or try to describe too much. You know, like, I mean, like, if you look at it right here, I mean, sorry, I went back off it. Like, let me bring it back. If you look at this, let me grab it. There we go. So, actually, what I'll do is I'll open this up into a new page. That way I'll be able to go in further and we can see the details more. Right, so here we go. So, there. So, yeah, I don't have to write too much here on this panel because, you know, you already know what the kids are thinking and what's going through their head. And I think that's something that I'm really trying to go for. Like, it's like with like you know, writing stories in a way that you can actually, I mean, you know, somehow be able to connect without using words. Because comics, you know, I sometimes forget, it's a visual medium, right? It's like you see that, and the way I try to have people stay on that panel for a long time is have a lot more text on there to keep their eyes there. But you know, it's just I find like sometimes, like, if the story isn't doesn't have a depth to it, you can read it in like 5 minutes and it's over, and you just put it away. But having, you know, having amazing work in there that really kind of like you know, focuses in a single little images on there like those, you know, you kind of like you know, most of the work's already done, you know.
Yeah, and it's difficult to do the expressions, and just to tell a story or a scene with no text is like you need to like think it really well. It's like it's not easy.
Yeah. And the worst thing is, like, you try and describe, you know, come up with how to describe that in your head as a writer. I was like, I can spend like 2 hours just going, this is what this is, or I can just go, hey, kids are scared, they're a bit worried, you know, mom's got their hands on the head, like, it's okay. That, you know, just crunch it down into that, and that's what you see now, right? It's just that's why I think working with illustrators is just such a great blessing to have, because, you know, you get able to put that, what I'm thinking in my friggin' head, into paper and bring that emotion out. And that's what, you know, as someone who used to, like, you know, do drawings and stuff all the time, and not anymore, I kind of understand that aspect of it, but I never really did the expression sort of like realistic drawings. I would do stuff like you know, Iron Maiden, Edie, their mascot, all the time. I would do horror things, but I never really kind of focused it on like real people. So when I see artists like yourself working on, you know, on real people, I just get thrilled, man. Like, seeing these things come, you know, because I appreciate art, you know, for that.
It's cool.
So let's watch a bit more of this, and then we'll finish off, because I think there was a portion in here where they talk about AI, and because I remember here's from Pluto, right? So I'm just jumping ahead. Like, look at that, right? Same thing we're just talking about. You know, just the expression. Look at the simple line.
It's
Yeah,
like
just look at the lips there.
I get like hours. Like, how the hell do they do that? Like, I try to do the same, but I take like hours, and it's like the not even the 1% as good as that. Like, and sometimes you get like they know something else. Well, at the end of the day, it's experience. Just they draw more than you. They are not. They are better because they have more experience. It's not like gifted people with that and did. It's awesome. Like, oh my god.
When we were writing, like when I was doing my filmmaking course, right? One of the things we were taught was like watch people, right? If you want watch people and how they talk, dialogue, right? If you want to be a good dialogue writer, you know, watch people and how they talk. Like go and sit down in a restaurant and watch them, listen to them. You know, communications, how they communicate to each other, and you know, and so same thing with this, right? It's like if you, I guess, if you want to be, you know, learn about expressions and all that stuff, you look at a lot of people, how, you know, like, you know, watching a lot of like live action, you know, not live action. Like what I mean by that is like TV, right? Watching people express themselves in moments and just grabbing that still shot, right? That still image and going, and like studying that, like you're doing like life drawing, right? When you do your first year of you know, of art school, whatever, they get a lady there or the man there, and you sit there, and they put them in their poses, and they, you know, and then you draw them and stuff. But like, you know, that's simple, just a simple little thing. So I guess, you know, so sometimes one frame from an art is enough to change someone's life. So let me pop back out a bit more and find out what he's talking about here. Right, so this is Pluto, if I remember the character. I mean, the main character from Pluto, by the looks of it.
どっちに影をつけるかっていう。
But just like the stance, right? He's like the way he's walking. You can already, you know, feel the expression or the emotion of the guy walking. The way he's, you know, got his head.
こんなもん大体大友さんで学びましたよ。それまでの漫画って、トーって立ってたんですよ。
決めポーズ。
そう。もしくはへへみたいな感じでやったの。大友さんがぼーっと立っている、片方の足に体重を乗せてぼーっと立ってる。あれはね、
すごいですね。
すごいですね。だから一人の漫画家の一コマの絵が人生変えますよね。まあこれ今ススッとなんとなくこう描きましたけど、
すごいな。
これちょっと前傾でグッて歩み出してるように見えるんですよ。で、これもう少しここの裾の形がちょっと平らになるとこういう風になるし、微妙に変わるんですよ。こ
の手の高さの違いとかね。
そう、これ別バージョン書くとね。
はい、なんと。
例えばこの首のつき方がこういう風になって。こういう風になって、これだけで歩き方が変わるんですよね。ほら、全然違うでしょ。
本当だ。
Just by the
ちょっと
way
背
he's
筋
like
が
got
シ
his
ャ
head
ンと
up
してる
right.
というなんか人間とか重さとか空気感がちょっとなくなっちゃいますね。
そうですよね。やっぱりだからずーっと書き手はこう感情をぶつけてないといけない。
わかります。すっごくわかります。
でないとこんなにならないですもんね。
そうなんです。
涙袋がってならないですよね。
そうですね。なんか人間ってやっぱ静止の状態がないじゃないですか。しかも癖がない人もほぼいないというか、だからその正面で書いても私絶対どっか崩したくなるんですよね。重心を。
そうですよね。
ちょっと置きたくなるなっていうのはすごくわかります。
あとはあれですか。男性はどうなんですか。
私は男性は実は書くのは得意なんですけど、
実は得意。
そうなんです。でも需要というか。書く機会があんまりお仕事ではないんですよ。実は結構
需要がないね。
需要がないんですよ。
おじさんとかね。
やっぱりそうですね。
僕おじさんばっかり書いてるんですけど。
そこはもうてかビッケ もお上手なんですけど、やっぱり、その、
おじさん、僕のおじさん好かれてますよね。
いや、めちゃくちゃいいですね。しかも、おじさんの書き分けすごくないですか？あれって何かこう、俳優さんとかモデルさんがいらっしゃることが多いですか？
Right.
例えば
Because for me, like when I'm like trying to get whoever artist is working with me, I get celebrities, actors, people who are public figures as references for that. Like, I mean, I'll go, okay, so I'm looking about this from this this person, from this culture or this ethnicity or this race, whatever. And now let me go and find out that actor from that country that looks like what I'm thinking. And I'll go through like about probably 50, 22, 30, 40, 50, whatever, depending if I can find it or not on the first go. And look at some obscure, right? Not someone who's popular, because it's just like, oh, now that you just got your character looks like, Brad Pitt. But someone who's like, doesn't have a big, huge name to themselves, or it's like, has been doing 1 or 2 movies, whatever, or TV. And I'll use that as a reference point for the characters. And I'll go, here, this is what I'm thinking about. And so sometimes I won't, because sometimes I'll get someone who actually fits that style exact. Like when we did this character of Amber, Kirsten had to look like this exact person that I was thinking in my head. She had to look like a kind of like a very masculine female, because Amber is a lesbian, right? I'm sorry, Kirsten's a lesbian. So Kirsten had to be this masculine looking person, and with a square jaw, kind of like butch haircut, flat male haircut, right? And so that you could give her, so that she would look like that, and you'd know straight away, kind of not like stereotype it, but to know that she would, kind of have that look, she's like here, right? So you've got, sorry, this is a bit more, this is like one of my works, not the actual final piece. So what I'll do is I'll pop out of that one, and I'll show you the one I'm thinking about. Let me pop back up here. It was here. So this is Kirsten, right? So when we're doing, when I got Kirsten, I said, yeah, this is this person, and kind of like that. Not exactly, but kind of like that. And I think a lot of times, it's easier for me as a writer to find a reference of a person that looks like that person I'm thinking in my head, than to try to describe it into freaking 100 words. It's like, oh, the jaw's going to be like this, and the hair's going to be like this. Hey, you know what? Here's a picture.
Yeah. It's better.
And, as an art, as the artist, right? How do you feel about that? Like, do you like the reference images, or do you want me to describe it? Or would you like someone to describe it?
I prefer the reference picture, because, for example, if you say, "Oh, I want you to draw a blade," for me, a blade it's I don't know, katana maybe, and for you, a blade is like a broadsword, and it's like, and draw it like this, okay. Or you say this is the reference, and you use it like the basis, and you can change some other things as you like, as the main idea keeps on touch. For example, Amber has short hair, but maybe you can change. I don't know, she has an earring here, or she has a tattoo here, or she has another expression, or short hair with a different style, maybe like. Instead of backwards, all fall down, or different, or cut it on the side.
That's the thing, right? Like, I mean, like, even like with that, you can see she's like a cheerful person, right? She's not someone who's like, very, like even through the story, you don't see her as like someone who's like down and, depressed or someone, but she's, because she's like the support character. She's like the wife or the girlfriend in the story. And so with Amber, with her, she's like, the lead. And so Kirsten takes a supportive role in this, but she's also supporting, Amber's journey, and like, but also being okay, yeah, but cautious, what are we doing? But be careful, but let's go do it. And I think that's kind of like like a normal relationship. And I think this is the one thing that a lot of people forget, that like even gay or lesbian relationships are normal relationships of people actually having normal life and normal situations in life. Okay, we got to go meet your mom and dad, right? Yeah, okay. I don't like your mom. Oh, okay, fine. Oh, let's go have dinner and so on. It's like, it's not this whole tied into this sexual thing all the time. And I think that's what a lot of people forget, that these people, this is normal human life and relationships.
That's why it's called relationship, because it's a relationship between two persons, and it's not just normal intercourse. Like, it's not like friends with benefits. It's a relationship. That's what I like about the couple, because even though that Amber, she's like for example, the tough one in the relationship, she also has sometimes like that soft side. Even like Kristen is 100% soft. She's shy. She tends to. I see her always like this, like hiding from people, because it's like more like so you say the people who tends to introverts. She's more like introvert. Kristen. Amber, sorry, it's like more like outside world. Yeah, let's do this, do that, but also has like the touching side of respecting the others, respecting her partner. Like, oh, you don't like that? Okay, let's figure it out. Let's see. Not like it's not 100% toughness that stop with that. Let's do this. Like push, push, push. Like no, it's like okay. It's like the perfect couple. Like we do this together. If someone's uncomfortable, we don't do it.
Yeah, and I think that's that's something that people like I said, like people kind of see these relationships like they're so weird. They like that. It's like two human beings are trying to live together and get along together, and so you have these two young ladies in their 20s and going on a what we call it in New Zealand an OE, an overseas experience, and so they have their own life, and now they go on a journey and into this new culture. So with that, if you guys want to see what that's about, there's an introductory #1 issue out of the manga here. It's in the chat at risingsunpublishing.com. It's Tortoise volume 1 #1. It's an introductory issue, so you can see the black and white full comic book, right? I mean, full manga, whatever. Read from the left to right to the left, and it tells you how to read a manga, and it's fully manga, right? And so it gives you an idea into who these people are, and the characters as the lead. You got Amber here on the right, and then you got Kirsten on the left here, right? So with that, we're going to finish off here, and we'll come back later when we've got issue like the reason we're doing this thing is to introduce you to Tomas. He's doing the entire book, and basically we're going to release it as a complete manga, and then we also will be releasing it as a single issue, full issue comic book series with its own wraparound covers, variant covers, and all that. But this is our first manga. This is my first manga, and it's a sci-fi. Sorry, it's a sort of like a supernatural horror slice of life conservation kind of piece, right? Because it's a lot of things, and then not much things. Kind of like it's just about two people, going on a journey over to to another country, to another island, thinking the best of the world and what they run into. So the issue that is there, this is the original artwork, will be, from the artist Levi Horvath. And then we've got a couple pages in there from Levi, his work, from, just to show you what's coming up, as well as like how to read a manga, how to suss it out. And then also this beautiful, what are they called? photo smash or something. I don't know what it's called, but where you use like photos, but you also do like real art on top of those photos. So this is from a New Zealand artist, young artist. She's probably 16 now. She did this when she was 14, Annalisa Gabler. So it's 28 pages of comic book, a story, and it's 36 pages all up. Of course, like I was mentioning there, content, we let you know because this is like a mature comic book manga, because a lot of stuff from Argentinian Comics is PG and all ages. So for us, we do have a PG book, which is, all ages book called Incredible, but everything else kind of like flows into whatever the story is. So the story here is, it's the Tortoise #1 manga. It's by myself and Tomas, and also Levi did the first issue, but we're doing the entire thing into 4 issues with Tomas, as I mentioned. So Amber, you got the content warning there: horror, supernatural themes, slice of life, conservation, adult themes, nudity, later issues. Amber, a 20-something from New Zealand with a lifelong love for turtles, especially her pet Marlowe, sets out on an overseas trip in search of a tribe called the Wabo. The secretive Southeast Asia and Oceania Indonesians supposedly have an interesting myth about the turtles, and Amber decides to go and see if it's true, if it's real, right? Should this is true? I don't know if it's real. Real and true is the same thing, I guess. Her fiance, Kirsten, joins her on the working holiday in the tropical islands. The story is told in a movie-style setting, like I mentioned earlier. The reason it's kind of like in a movie-style setting, think of like the Green Inferno, Midsummer, that sort of like idea when it comes to the comic book. It's not like a lot of action all up, because it's going to be produced as a graphic novel. Graphic novel from Westerners, as a manga. It's all there, right? The whole entire story is there. And so we got a lot of cool things happening in it. We will be releasing it in Portuguese, English, and Spanish, because I hear that, I got a spelling mistake, my bad. Portuguese, and especially Spanish, Mexico and people in South America love manga. So I thought, why not do that, for that as well as in English. So please check it out. The first issue's there. Yeah, man. Hey, Nathaniel. Oh, I want to show you something since you're here. You're going to be, I was going to keep it a secret, but it's only for this one. So I'm going to get out of this other pages and I'll show you what I've done. And hopefully I can find it quickly since you're here. But I was translating the. Hold on, I think I need to open that. So give me 1 sec. I was translating. Oh, here it is. Robotnation into Portuguese, because Luis, who will be with us next week, our artist on Howler, which is what page am I on? What I do? Okay, hold on.
Robotnation.
Yeah. So he did the translation for the Portuguese version of Robotnation, and it's of course Luis. Tomas did the Spanish language, but I was messing around with like the Spanish one. The Portuguese one, and I came up to, where are you? Here we go. Is it that one? No. I have to go back further up. So these are the colored pages. We've added a couple more. I think we've got about 7 or 8 left to do all the colors on. Here we go. This one. This is for you. Like I mentioned, you're watching the other day, and I mentioned how sometimes I like to take the real world things, just kind of like chuck it in there. So this is the Portuguese version only, and that will have it, not the English or anything like this. and I wanted something different. And so you will notice there's something strange going on here. You know, see that? Right. So that, of course, is this guy here. I put in the Portuguese only language one. So that's going to be released as a digital as well as a physical. So we're going to I realized that last time when we did the Kickstarter, I only had it in English. I should have done it like Portuguese, Spanish, and English in digital release. So, people, who wanted to read in Spanish or Portuguese could back that one as well. But we are going to re-release Robotnation again with a smaller campaign, so which we can work around, because it got 13 covers got a bit too much for, and I think it was the budget just blew, wasn't at this time, right, economically with a new project, wasn't that I think a bit too much for people. So we're going to be doing a smaller campaign with only eight covers, and so this is the new setup I'm doing for that, and we'll just finish up with this in line with that. And so this is the new campaign that I'm working on to re-release, and it's going to run for 60 days. I think it will come up. Are you going to come up? Hello. Here it is. So redesigned everything, reworked it, and so we're going to be offering the Spanish digital, the English digital, Portuguese, and so on. And also, we've got the 3 covers: Spanish, English. You got the English one right at the. Where are we? Here we go to the covers. Still work in progress here, but so you got like 2 parent covers, A and B. Sorry, D and E, and then you've got the 2 full covers, which is this one and that one, and then we've got the wraparound chrome. That's it. And so this will allow us to actually, get the book out, hopefully, because we did have a lot of people back it. I think we had 13 backers, which is pretty cool. But I think with this new campaign, will allow us to go into get ready for the Templeton, because Templeton's coming out soon as well, around December or so forth. And this is the cover for Templeton that we've got as a wraparound that our colorist, both on Templeton and on Robotnation, has done for us. So this is the wraparound cover for Templeton, and as you can see, there's a warning there. This is very heavy, mature comic book. So with that, we're going to say our goodbyes. Thinking the thing of I know it's like about 4 o'clock in the morning or 5, 6 o'clock in the morning for you guys over in the US. But for me, it is 9 o'clock, and for you, it is what? 9 o'clock or 11 o'clock?
I think 11.
11. Right. So, without further ado, we'll finish off here. Tomas, do you have any last words, and we'll finish off?
Okay, no, just I'm really happy to work with you. Like, I'm really enjoying the process and everything. Like, I think this is like a big project. First manga, like, a dream come true. I also wanted to be a manga artist, so it's like really great. And
awesome, man.
Keep all the good stuff, man. Like, I really enjoy everything. Like, I see everything. Robotnation, like when you asked me for help to translate Robotnation, was awesome. And
yeah,
I even had like, I'm reading this before everybody else. Like, like such a nice story. I was like this, and also I was thinking this needs to be on the big screen, like maybe an anthology series with short stories, or a big movie. Like this needs to be on the big screen. Yeah,
I mean, like we've already got issue 2 working on now, and then issue 3 script I've got some of 90% of it done, or like 80% something. Finished off issue 3. But what Tomas was mentioning, what I forgot to mention was this is his art cover there for robotnation. This is his variant cover for the Spanish language that he translated. So yeah, please do check. When we release this, please check it out. And if you back the previous one, come and jump on this one, because we're definitely going to get this out there.
Yeah. Please, everybody, support the artists, me, everybody who is behind this, because it's like we put our hearts in this. We want to give you the best experience reading books, comic books, manga, and everything. And we do it for love of the craft. We are not also, you have to, we ask you to back our project, but we do it for the love of the craft. It's not like, you see the sausage machine that we have to take a comic after comic after comic after comic. We want to do a great job for everybody, and just take that in mind. And thanks for the help.
Awesome. All right, guys, thank you for joining us, and wherever you are, be well. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you next time. And like I always say, if you got a loved one close by, give them a hug and a kiss. Let them know that you care. And especially if you've got a male in the house, like a young boy or, parent, whatever, husband, just, guys need to be told that they're appreciated and shown and so on. It's something to do with our, how we are made up, right? So if you can tell, let your loved male, whatever, or your child, that they care for, and they, that you appreciate them. So with that in mind, however you show that is up to you. But thank you for joining us. We'll catch you in the next one. Ka kite anō. Thank you, Tomas, for coming on and giving up your Saturday morning early.
No, it's okay. Thank you very much. Sorry for the other podcast that I wasn't able to be. So.
That's fine, man. I appreciate you coming on. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. You have a good day, and everybody else, you guys have a good day as well. See you next time. Ka kite anō.